Welcome to Smalltalk Daily for Tuesday, December 16, 2008. This morning I'd like to continue with subcanvases, and what we're going to look at today is one of the online examples, subcan3.pcl, in the examples folder of your distribution. And I've already loaded this, so I'm not going to load it again. But what this does is it brings in an example showing you how to swap subcanvas elements in and out at runtime. So the last time I went through subcanvases, we just built one that is always showing the same embedded UI. Today we're going to show one that dynamically changes, kind of the way that a tabbed interface would, but without the tabs. Giving you an idea what we're going to go through, I'll bring up the example here. We'll go to the interface spec and we'll hit the open button right here. And the way this works is it's showing the hierarchy of classes here. So I select a class, it shows the hierarchy. If I select class comment, it swaps in the class comment. And if I want methods, it swaps in a list. So what I'm doing is I'm swapping subcanvases. Here I put in an editor. Here I put in an editor, and here I put in a list box. And you can see that it's a list because I can select in it. So that's not too terribly exciting, although you will notice that it's disabling these buttons here in the list box. That's mainly to demonstrate that it's possible. Let's go through and look at what actually happens at runtime. First, we'll do an edit on this and take a look at how it's constructed. And if you take a look at this, you'll notice that I have my list box over here. I have my three radio buttons, all of which are displaying the same aspect. So if I select through these, I'll find that they all are display aspect. And that's pretty much the long and short of the interface that way. Let's go over here to the interface instance side and take a look. In initialize, all I do is I set up the display aspect and the list aspect, and then I have my class names as a selection and list with all the classes in the core namespace. So instead of picking, say, the XML namespace or what have you, I'm picking core. Doesn't really matter, I just have to fill the list with something. So then I have set up a change message so that whenever one of those radio buttons is selected or something changes in the list, what I do is I send this message here, changed aspect. So first it looks at the display aspect value. If there's no class selected, it does this show nothing. And all that does is make sure that it takes the subcanvas and drops nothing into it. If I have a comment, it takes an editor, drops it in there, and here's the key piece of this. I grab the specification by going to the class and the spec, interface spec 4, and then I send this message. I grab my builder, component at the subcanvas, get the widget. So I get the subcanvas widget itself, and then I send client, give it the new application, spec, give it the spec. The thing that comes back from this is actually the builder for this guy here. So if you want to play with this later, you might want to cache that in memory. It doesn't really matter, you can do that or not. The important thing is here, if you want to screw around with enabling and disabling components, what you want to do is first set the builder to nil before you do this. And the reason for that is that during the construction process, it'll try to reuse the existing builder if it finds one. So if you nil it out, it'll make sure you get a new one. And then you can send list application builder component at and do enablement, disablement, and so on of widgets. But the key thing is this method right here, client colon spec colon. It'll return the builder that's used, and that builder, if you set it to nil, will be cached under the application itself. And then you can just send these kinds of messages as you normally would, making sure you grab the correct builder. And that's really all there is to swapping out canvases at runtime. So not only can you specify that you can embed a new canvas in, but you can swap them out at runtime pretty easily. And it turns out you do exactly this with the tabbed interface, and I've shown you this in a previous Smalltalk Daily. This is how you do it in general, whether you're working with tabs or not. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with Smalltalk.